There's a lot of people out there that collect trade paperbacks, and to be honest with you, graphic novels have some pretty awesome looking covers to them. So I figured this month's edition of Great Comic Book Covers, we're going to focus on some graphic novels. So this month, let's take a look at some great graphic novel covers. Hello, thank you so much for coming back to another episode of Great Comic Book Covers. This is the show where we take a look at some comic book covers that may not be the most iconic, may not be key covers, they might not be the best covers out there, but at the end of the day, I think there's some pretty great comic book covers, and that is exactly the premise of the show. Today I've got something actually very special for you. Now, we've taken a look at nothing but comic book covers in the past, whether it be from Spawn, to The Punisher, to Transformers, to a mixed bag of my wife's comic book covers. I've never taken a look at graphic novel covers. Now, all these graphic novels we're going to take a look at today are graphic novels from my collection. Now, I know that there's so many trade paperbacks out there, and even Spoonie has got more trade paperbacks than I possibly do. However, I did take a look at some of my graphic novels, and I thought to myself, hey, these are some pretty cool covers here for graphic novels. Some of them are ripped straight from the comic book, but why not? It's still pretty cool. So today, we're going to take a look at some graphic novel covers. It's going to be a little different. The books are a little heavy, so just bear with me, guys. That being said, one by one, we'll take a look at all these books, whether they're trade paperback or hardcover. And yeah, I think I saved the hardcovers for last. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the honorable mentions. Hack Slash is one of my favorite comic books of all time, and I'm still on the hunt for the old Hack Slash books for my collection, so maybe one day we can do one of those episodes. But there are some pretty cool collected omnibuses, and this is no different. So we've got the Omnibus 1 of Hack Slash. So it's just, I love the writing on the background, and then just Cassie Hack's in there. Mr. Clown down there. If you've never read Hack Slash, I highly recommend this series. But yeah, nonetheless, it's a really neat graphic novel cover, and again, if you've never read Hack Slash, I highly recommend going after this title. So we've got Iron Maiden, The Legacy of the Beast, Volume 1. And this is one of those things where the back of the graphic novel is just as nice as well. Get to that in a moment. But I really like the fact that you've got Eddie and some of the other characters right there, just really cool looking. And even the back of the graphic novel, just that picture right there. Really awesome, and it's a really cool book too if you have not read it. Highly recommend The Legacy of the Beast. Really cool, awesome cover right there. It's a shame that I haven't collected more Evil Dead or Army of Darkness comic books. I mean, I have maybe a couple of my collection, but this was really neat. This is Volume 1 of The Evil Dead 2. So it's just really cool right there. The writing at the top there, and you've got Ash standing above a pit of fire. So awesome. This is not released by Scapegoat, and I believe this was put out, I think, in 2017. So this is Beyond Dead by Dawn, so really awesome. And yeah, just love Evil Dead, my favorite horror franchise of all time, so this cover's really neat. Now, I don't have any comics of him, but hey, I wanted to read some Black Lightning, so I picked this up at my Dollarama. This is Black Lightning, Brick City Blues. It's the entire run. Just a cool cover right there, Black Lightning, all covered in lightning. Really neat. That's your epitome of the 90s right there. So, yeah, really awesome. I like that a lot. Welcome to Brick City. Now, with that being said, let's get into the main list. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, that's no surprise. One of the books I love the most is The Ultimate Spider-Man, stick around for my haul this Friday. That being said, this is Volume 3 of The Ultimate Spider-Man. I just love the fact that he's being pinned to the wall by Doc Ock. It's really cool. And this one collects issues number 14 to 21 of The Ultimate Spider-Man. So this is really cool, and it's a great storyline too. If you have never read the Bagley and Bendis run of The Ultimate Spider-Man, I highly recommend checking it out. I'm sure you have. But again, nonetheless, really cool cover. Double Trouble, this is Volume 3, and again, Spidey just being pinned to the wall with the logos on the side. It's just really awesome, and it's one of those things that even when I was younger drew me to a lot of these Ultimate Spider-Man books, and I want to look for more of these. So yeah, the Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo run on Batman from the New 52 was incredible. And I think that the best story was Death of the Family, and this cover, Volume 3, Joker holding up his face. So minimalistic, just the hands in his face, and artwork by Greg Capullo. Oh, it's just so great. Love that. It's just so nicely done. It's a compelling story too. If you've never read the New 52 run by Snyder and Capullo, I recommend it. But this cover, insane. And it's a minimalistic cover, like I said. And it's also very iconic at this point. So had to throw this on the list. This is Batman, coincidentally, Volume 3 of the New 52. This is Spawn Endgame, the complete collection. This collects, I don't know how many issues of Spawn Endgame. It's the whole entire run of Spawn Endgame. So really cool. It's just a really neat cover of Spawn's head turning into ectoplasm. And yeah, just Spawn there. It's minimalistic too. I really like that. Really awesome, and even like the artwork inside the book. If you take a look at the artwork inside the book, it is really nice as well. But it completes the whole entire run of Spawn Endgame. But we're not here to talk about that. We're looking at the cover here. That's just really neat. I like that. Super cool. It's not something you see very often either on a Spawn comic book. And the artwork is done by Todd McFarlane, so it's really nice. Just looks really cool as a graphic novel cover. There you go. There's your Spawn entry into this list. I know a lot of people today are really vibing off of Mark Spears. I think he's really starting to heat up. Unpopular opinion, I think he's okay. I'm always going to prefer Alex Ross when it comes to the painted type stuff. And this is no exception. This is Marvel's The Complete Collection. And once again, we got Spider-Man on there. And I love how Alex Ross painted his Spider-Man on this cover. It's just really nice. And Alex Ross just has this way of making them look old school, but making it pop at the same time when he paints them. I actually went out of my way to get a couple of the Amazing Spider-Man covers that he was doing back in like the mid-2010s, but it's just a cool looking cover. And even the inside looks all the same. So if you're wondering, it's all the same thing. It's just not just the cover. If you've never read Marvels, it's kind of like Kingdom Come. I highly recommend reading this as well. A lot of these books in this collection I highly recommend, I would say. But yeah, just again, it's just Spider-Man right there. And that's like an iconic look for Spidey as well. So there you have it. This is Marvel's The Complete Collection right here. This has got to be one of the greatest comic book series of all time, in my opinion. And at this moment is my favorite television series. This is Volume 2 of Invincible. This one is 8 is enough, and you've got the Guardians of the Globe in the background, you've got Alan the Alien, you've got Mark right there front and center. Cool cover, minimalistic as well. It doesn't need to explain too much to you for you to get the gist of it. All the original Guardians right there. You gotta read Invincible or watch the show to understand. I love Ryan Ottley's artwork on Invincible. It's awesome, but yeah, nonetheless, super cool. And again, one of those things too, even the back is really neat right there, just Mark staring at the moon. So. Again, if you've never read Invincible, I highly recommend checking this out. But a cool graphic novel cover, nonetheless. Saga of the Swamp Thing, Book 3. This is by Alan Moore. I believe the artwork's by Stephen Bissett in this. Just really nice. Swamp Thing is just sitting there pulling on. And that's the beautiful thing about Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing. He kind of gave you a Swamp Thing that you can sympathize with, and that's what I loved about this, like sympathizing with him even more so. And it turned Swamp Thing, I think Saga of the Swamp Thing was already a good comic, but when Alan Moore took over, it really elevated the character. This to me was just really the nicest. I could have gone with the first volume, but just there's something about this cover that really spoke to me. Saga is another one of those comic books that's just a mastery of literature and art. And it's one of those things that's also tough to adapt, I believe, when it comes to making it into a movie or a TV show. But Fiona Staples' artwork is beautiful. And I love this cover of Marco from Saga, just covered in blood with the pink background. Again, it's one of those things where Saga has a lot of nice covers, and it's really tough to choose one. And we don't have the full run just yet in our collection. We'll have the first 5 or 6. But I was like, there's so many nice ones, and I wanted to include Saga in here. And again, just a beautiful cover right there of Marco, all bloodied. It's amazing, and it's such a great comic book as well. And once again, the picture on the back too, when you turn it around, yeah. Fiona Staples' artwork is beautiful, and if you've not read Saga, it's another book that I highly recommend. My favorite artist of all time, Michael Turner. Again, that's something I've been vocal about on this channel many times. Of course, I got to include him on the graphic novels list. This is a big old omnibus. This collects the first, I think, I don't know, something 12 or 15 issues. I don't know how many. But this is Witchblade Omnibus Volume 1. It's just really cool. You got Witchblade right there, and I like the comic strips in the background. That's just so nice. Now, I do need to get Volume 2, and I'd like to get the Darkness as well. But this is just super cool looking. Like I said, with the Witchblade right there, and then the comic strips in the background. Michael Turner's artwork for me is always going to be my favorite. He's always going to be my inspiration, as well as Jack Kirby. So anytime I see Michael Turner stuff, I gotta grab it. So beautiful cover that they chose to go with for the omnibus, and I think this is fitting for Witchblade. With that being said, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get to the second half of the list.
Lawbreakers. Boomer the Nerd will return after these messages.
Government agents, scientists, master criminals, secret formulas, monsters, and midgets. None of them belong in this swamp. Only one thing does. The Swamp Thing. The comic book legend lives. Adrienne Barbeau and the Swamp Thing. An outrageous pair. The Swamp Thing. Rated PG.
Now showing at a theater near you.
You're breaking the law if you're not back. We now return to Boomer the Nerd.
Another artist for me that I grew up in that class of loving, besides McFarlane and Jim Lee and utmost Michael Turner, was Greg Capullo. Now, we took a look at Batman before. This is Dark Knight's Metal, the complete run. I just think that's a really awesome cover. I know that the hardcover is different, but this Batman right there with the battle axe, that's just amazing. And Dark Knight's Metal is amazing too. I've had Dark Knight's Death Metal on my counter for like years now, and I'm only now just getting down to the last 2 issues, which I recommend that read as well. But this is so cool right here, Batman again with the battle axe. It's just so neat. It's basically like, there's not much of Batman on here, and you don't need much of Batman to tell you the story of this picture right here. It's just awesome, and I think that's what Greg Capullo, what's awesome with him is that you can sell a book with Greg Capullo's artwork without even having a good story. You could just sell an artwork book of Greg Capullo and it'll work. So yeah, there you go, Dark Knight's Metal right there. This book just oozes 90s, and this book just oozes anything that, if you love that cosmic stuff, that space stuff from Marvel, you're gonna love this book. This is Thanos, Cosmic Powers. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I mean, look, I can't know every single comic book. I didn't know that this was a thing, and this is just a really sweet cover of Thanos having some power through his gauntlets and having the power beams coming from his eyes. It's just so cool, and it's one of those books too that when you read this book, it oozes 90s, guys. It oozes the 90s. It's on par there with like how that Superman, the death of Superman and all that stuff, that's what this oozes right there, that kind of artwork. And once again too, the back of the cover is really awesome. The focus is right here. This is the, I guess, Ron Rim cover. I believe that's what it is. Ron Lim, my apologies. So that's really cool. I like that cover a lot. It's just iconic looks from the 90s, and it's an iconic look as well for Thanos. So that's really neat right there. See, I mentioned Jim Lee, right? And Hellblazer is one of those books that I love. John Constantine is one of my top 5 favorite DC characters. And Original Sins Volume 1, this cover done by Jim Lee, is just so nice. You've got John right there sitting down with a cigarette in hand with the wings behind him. It works well for Volume 1. And this is so beautiful. I was dancing around this book for the longest time. I'm super happy that I bought it. I gotta get the rest of the volumes, but nonetheless, really awesome. Who'da thunk it? Jim Lee's artwork fits in very well with John Constantine. This cover is so nice. And I received this as a gift. I never thought to myself, I think this would be a really great cover, a really great addition to my collection. And it really was. This is Planetary, and this is a cover done by John Cassidy over Warren Ellis book. You got the three mystery archaeologists on the cover there, but with a bunch of multiverses back there. This is such a beautiful looking cover. And this was back when Wildstorm was still, I guess, not in print anymore, but this is back when Wildstorm was still around. It's just a cool looking cover. It's one of those unique looking things that you'd be like, huh, this is just so interesting. I want to pick it up and read it. So I like this a lot. Even the logo is really nice for Planetary, but like, look at that. Cool. Like, yes, you got the three characters at the bottom, but the main focus is really everything else here. Looks like Shattered Dimensions. This is super cool, and then expands a little bit more on the back as well. So a really cool cover right here. This is Planetary. I believe it's the complete collected edition of Planetary. So don't quote me on that. But yeah, nonetheless, such a nice looking cover. Actually, I wish Wildstorm would come back a little bit. I'm not putting this on here because of Neil Gaiman. F that guy, but it's such a great story. And Sam Keith, although this is not a Sam Keith cover, this is Sandman, Preludes and Nocturnes. Now, if you have watched the Netflix series, it's done now, but I read the book and I watched the first season. They very well adapted it from the story. I mean, they had to take out some DC characters, but nonetheless, that's fine. But this is such a nice painted cover. Very abstract with Dream of the Endless right there. If I'm not mistaken, that is Dream of the Endless. But it's very nicely done. Volume 2, I have also the Dollhouse, but it's more minimalistic. This at least has something in here to show off, and I really like that. And I've always been attracted to this specific book over the years. Don't know why I never pulled the trigger, not until I got it as a gift. Thank you, Spoonie. Nice cover, such an iconic looking cover right there. Same thing for, Preacher Gone to Texas. Iconic look for that graphic novel. But there you go, there's the Sandman, Preludes, and Nocturne. And again, if you've never read Sandman, if you want to watch the show, do yourself a favor, read Sandman. Despite the whole Neil Gaiman bullshit, this is such a good book. Do I consider this one a graphic novel? Yes and no. It's not really a graphic novel, but nonetheless, I had to include it. Now you got an Alex Ross cover, but it goes off of the artwork of Michael Turner. It's just so beautiful. You got Fathom, Soulfire, yeah, just the characters of Michael Turner. It's just so beautiful. I love this a lot, and even if I don't read it, it's one of those things that I like. Every time I look at it in my collection, I'm like, this is so nice. It's one of those things that eventually I think I might want to put up once I get a bigger place and a bigger office. At least put this up on display because that cover is just so nice. All the characters right there, painted, very nicely done. I think that Michael Turner would actually be proud of this right here if he saw this. If this was gifted to him, like if ever he got gifted this by Alex Ross, I think he would have loved this. Now for something a little unconventional. You saw me do a Music Bands comic book in my honorable mentions. Well, here's a Singer's graphic novel. This is the Illustrated Al. You've got Weird Al painted onto his graphic novel cover. Now there's no issues or individuals. This is solely a graphic novel, and I think it was an online thing only that you can get it. I got this as a gift from my wife a couple years ago. But this basically just adapts Weird Al songs into comic book form. Like if you take a look, you're adapting his songs into comic books. So that's really neat. If you're a Weird Al fan, it's a great thing to have as part of your collection, but the cover is just really cool. I think Weird Al too is proud of this book right here. I mean, that the only thing that would match this in here that would have been nice as the cover would have been the Weird Al fat picture right here. But nonetheless, this is super cool. And it's one of those things that I'm super happy to have in my collection because I know I tell you guys I'm a big metalhead, which I am, but I'm a massive Weird Al fan. So having this in my collection, this is like peak Weird Al fandom right here. Huh, no Ninja Turtles on my list? I'm sure I have some Ninja Turtles on my list. Oh, I do. This is the Last Ronin, the collected edition. What a beautiful cover. When I was looking for this on Free Comic Book Day in 2023, individual issues, not as easy to find these days. When I was looking for the collected edition and I saw this cover, I was like, whoa! Whoa! It's by Esau and Isaac Escorza, and it's such a beautiful cover of The Last Ronin. There's a reason why this image is used a lot, especially with the NECA figures of The Last Ronin. So it's just a breathtaking artwork, and just the artwork in general in this book is breathtaking in general. Like, this is a great book. Now, I know that people are going over a lot of Last Ronin. There's a lot of coming out, but if you've never read the original book, believe the hype, because the original Last Ronin book is one of the, I'm not gonna lie to you, one of, if not the best Ninja Turtle story I've read in my life, and it's probably one of my favorite stories that I've read in the last 5 to 10 years. So I highly recommend reading The Last Ronin. You're going to be hooked, line, and sinker from the moment you start reading until the end. Last Ronin, complete edition right there. Nice, beautiful hardcover. That artwork is amazing.
Lawbreakers. Boomer the Nerd will return after these messages.
Straight from the comic book.
Get Spawn!
It's Spawn,
Vertebreaker! Spawn, look out!
battling evildoers everywhere.
Arr! Go, Spawn!
Live the adventure with Spawn.
You're breaking the law if you're not back. We now return to Boomer the Nerd.
And these are all the graphic novels in today's list. Now, next month, October, we're shifting gears. We're starting spooky season, so I'm going to do my best to find some horror style comic books in my collection. I'm going to go dig through these bins and present a horror themed edition. That'll be next month. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Great Comic Book Covers. Let me know down below in the comments which cover you like the most, or if there's any graphic novels in your collection that you want to share that you think, hey, Boomer, this is a beautiful cover as well. Let me know all that fun stuff down below. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I always say that because I could not be making these videos without you, and I know you guys seem to be enjoying the Great Comic Book Covers videos. So that's awesome. There's more to come. Don't worry, stick around for more great comic book covers. In the meantime, however, if you are brand new to my channel because you love comic book content, or you've been watching my videos for the longest time, you haven't already done so, please and thank you. Subscribe to my channel. While you're there, click the bell to be notified whenever I get some brand new content out. Also, if you liked this video, you're enjoying Great Comic Book Covers, but also all of my content, let the algorithm know. Click that thumbs up button. And also, share the video with comic book aficionados alike. I will see you guys again in the next Great Comic Book Covers episode. Until then, they may not be the greatest covers, they may not be the best, the key, or the most iconic covers, but at the end of the day, they are some really great covers, however. See you guys next time.